Hey guys, it's Two Mathles here once again. Just wanted to talk a bit about Diablo, the Diablo situations from my perspective. Basically, Diablo 1, 2, 3, 4. What's happening mostly with 4, just throw out some of my opinions and what's going to be happening and stuff. So you have a more conclusive area to look for that sort of stuff if you want to know. I'm just going to talk over the top of what I've been playing recently, a little bit of Diablo 2 as the new Diablo 2 season started, and yeah, after a few minutes, I'll just go into full talk mode. So to begin with, this is Diablo 2 Remastered. I've been playing it for a good week now, I think. Just made a couple characters, and that's about as long as a Diablo 2 currently has for a season, I think. You play it for about a week, and that's all you really need to do. You play it for a character or two, and that's about as long of a longevity as this game can really have with the content it has. You can see some peak D2 action right here, where we've got like an 8-player party just stuck in Maggot Lair because no one can kill anything or do anything, and I had to just stand there leading the charge, doing even slightly more, but still kind of nothing, compared to everyone still just a little bit more. Anyway, yeah, peak game design. So there's still lots of problems with D2. You can look back after playing it, and you can absolutely see that it's an old game, and there's old things happening, philosophies, design decisions, all kinds of shit that just would not fly in modern gaming. In PoE, for example, there's lots of stuff that just would not be acceptable, and it's kind of frustrating at times. But it is an old game. It is what it is. There's still lots of nostalgia to it. There's still lots of enjoyment to be had, and you just take all of the bad with sort of a grain of salt, and you know, accept the bad for what it is and go for the good. But it definitely shows its age, and you can definitely appreciate the many steps that other ARPGs have taken, especially PoE, in rectifying some of the old, even the best of the best games issues. So D2 at the moment, new season came out. There's some updates still, which is very surprising. So they still will be giving some updates in some seasons every now and again. And it's still an okay game for you to buy, play, and enjoy for about a week. We then have D3 coming up in the next few hours. EU servers are already live, and the NA ones, which I'll probably be playing very soon, will be up soon, and that's a new season, and I think the last season. So D3 now has, this is the 28th season. Basically, D3 came out, decent hype, you know, one of the best selling games of all time, but the game itself, not bad, decent hype. It didn't quite live up to expectations, but still very playable. Once it started just to kind of die down because there wasn't enough really replayability or stuff to do, that took a while, maybe a year or some shit. They brought in some updates. There's been rifts and greater rifts and seasons, and early on the seasons it didn't really feel like they were putting too much effort in, too much proper work in like, you know, making the game different. It's just an extra season, just another restart. That's pretty much it. But then they started to really ramp things up and actually take notes from PoE and do some ladder seasons where there was like more special things happening during the specific little season or league, and gave you more of a reason to play it. Largely and famously, they also buffed a lot of shit continuously, so they just give thousands of percents of damage to various things, made things bigger and better, and just basically nerf was almost not in the vocabulary, and you just constantly get more power creep to the point where you were dealing like thousands of damage into millions of damage into billions and trillions and quadrillions and quintillions, and it's been pretty ridiculous. So that's part of the reason you can't really just overbuff things and constantly buff and buff and buff, and there is some balance to be had, but that's an issue for another time. Basically, D3 will come out. It'll have about a week's worth of playtime as well, if you're really interested in that sort of thing. And if you're going to be interested in that sort of thing, it's just arcadey fun. It's something still worth, like, it's worth your $50 or some shit. If you know, get enough out of a game for 1 week, like that, and it's not a bad ARPG for what it is. It doesn't have that much depth, it doesn't have that much replayability, but you can definitely get like a week's worth of just grind and playing a few characters and experimenting some skills and satisfying sort of crunchy gameplay where you just blow stuff up. But that'll be about it, about a week. And yeah, and this might be the last, I think they said it's the last D3 season, because then D4 is going to be happening and D3 just won't have that same support, or it'll be basically an older version of D4, because as we've seen, D4 is looking kind of Diablo 3-esque. So that brings me to Diablo 4 and my opinions and stuff on it. It will be coming up in about a month, the beta to begin with. So the open beta, well, still kind of a closed beta, so there'll be two betas. Like the first one is if you've pre-ordered, you get like a 3-day earlier beta or some shit. If you haven't pre-ordered, after those 3 days you can still play the open beta that will then have 3 days to play as well. So after that, then June 6th, I think, is the official release date for D4. Once again, there's going to be a pre-order thing where you can have early access for like 3 days. So before any D4 opinions, I think that's terrible. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ. Like getting 3 days earlier than everyone else just because you spent $100 or something, because I think it's the elite pack that you got to pre-order, not just a pre-order. I mean, yeah, ultimately it probably doesn't matter in the ARPG sense. Maybe it matters for economy though. If you get like earlier access than everyone else, then, and the economies matter, then that's a big deal. But I don't know, like it still just leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth that lots of people are gonna play before a lot of other people. So that's just one really big thing I don't like. But other than that, Diablo 4 beta, I don't really want to play betas and stuff like that like before the actual game, but I'm gonna have to. Like, I'm a streamer and I have to test like for myself and for the viewership how the game's going to be, whether or not we're going to play it or want to play it, or how it feels, how it looks. So I'm going to be doing that, but I would have rather just no real access to that and then playing the full game on release and see how it is. Either way, yeah, in about a month's time, that's when we get to see, most of us get to really experience what D4 is going to be kind of like. I think it's going to go up to level 25 in just the first act, something like that. So yeah, that's the basic release times and dates. And then June 6th, I think, is when the actual release is. And that's going to be about a month before ExileCon, bit more than that. So it will give us plenty of time, if we want to play it, give us plenty of time to figure out if it's worth playing, how long it could be played for, and then get back into sort of PoE mode. So that's kind of release schedules. As far as the actual game itself is concerned, so far from what I've seen, it looks kind of like more modernized D3, but in a Lost Ark-ish kind of world. So like open world-ish. I mean, maybe there's going to be like, yeah, MMO aspects to it, with like dailies or shit like that. That's the thing we're afraid of. But the things that kind of look potentially cool is more the teaming up, raiding aspect, seeing people randomly, and having encounters across the board like that. But yeah, from everything I've seen, it's not going to be the huge PoE competitor in the deep ARPG sense. It's still going to make billions of dollars. It's still going to be more popular than PoE for a long time. I imagine the Diablo IP is just so much more famous and like hyped. But I don't think it's going to have that level of depth, and like it really can't. Like with everything that PoE has built over the many years, it can't really compete with that level of depth. So if you're going to be looking for that PoE depth, you're still going to be looking at PoE. But best case scenario, D4 is going to be one of those things that will also have seasons and will be something we can play every few months for like, a couple weeks or something like that. I say that's best case scenario because I think PoE is still going to be mainly the thing I'd want to play, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not really averse to the idea of being more of a Diablo streamer than a PoE streamer. Whatever game's going to suit the needs better is what we're going to go with. But I just don't think that D4 is going to have as much longevity. Based off of what we've seen, everything from the developer updates and the systems, it still kind of looks like Diablo 3, but a bit further forward, like a lot of the systems and all of that, the skill systems and the item systems. So that's what we're mostly worried about. Either way, that's basically my opinions on it. Like, I will be playing whatever I can if D4 is coming out and I'm doing absolutely nothing else, like, PoE wise, then yeah, absolutely, I'm going to be playing D4, trying it out, and if it sticks, it sticks. I've got no fear of that. But I don't expect it to be a huge competitor, and I don't think you should either. So curb your expectations, go in with none, basically, and be pleasantly surprised if you are turned around into a different favor. Not sure there's anything else to really say there. Just wanted to toss out some Diablo information if you've not been listening or keeping track of it at all. Some release dates and stuff. Don't be afraid of Diablo, like saying, oh, it's the worst game or Blizzard sucks or something. We're all just video game consumers, and just take it for what it is, one step at a time as things come. If it looks good, if it's worth playing, if people say it's going to be good after playing it and stuff, then maybe give it a shot. But yeah, I wouldn't jump blindly in with a pre-order or something unless you absolutely need that 3 days head start thing, which really sucks. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.